then it's not gonna matter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, even World Entertainment, it's my baby. That's what I want to do. And I always say it's for the artist from the artist perspective, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. That sounds dope. So are you currently looking to sign new artists? Do you have, room for, new people that say, "Hey, I think it's time for me to branch out." So do you have like a set platform that you actually have to go through in order to be signed with your company, or is it more so just them reaching out to you, say, "Hey, I might possibly want you to represent me."
It's really just that simple. We have clients now that we just do artist development for. We don't necessarily do anything else. At one point I was offering management, but I hadn't started back doing that yet. And we haven't signed anybody yet because to me, I think it's very important that artists understand if you're gonna sign with somebody, they first of all gotta have some money
Mhm.
because it takes money to make things happen. So what we wanted to do is try to create revenue and build so that when I do sign an artist, I can properly take them through the journey. They won't have to be frustrated. We can handle it like a record label should. So I'm looking to sign my first artist next year in 2021. My record that came out, all of the proceeds from my record is for me to kind of build so that I can invest in somebody else.
Okay, awesome. That sounds good. Well, when you're ready to start more clients, let me know because I got a few that I think that you might like. So we'll talk about that off record. Um, like I said, I follow Lisa Noel and the Brown Singers. I listen to Work on Me pretty much every day. I be on the trail walking, and I just be like, I love this song. So tell us just a little bit about the group. Like, what started the group as far as where you are now?
The Brown Singers started really in the 70s before I was even born. It was my grandmother and my mom and some of the girls that were members of the church. They all would go to these conventions. And when they got back from one of the conventions, the pastor was like, "Y'all sing something." Well, it happened to be only four of them there out of the group of young people who went. When they got done, they tore the church up. My mom, my Aunt Dolly, all of them, they tore the church up. And so he says, "You know what? Y'all should call yourself Brown Singers." And because at the time my grandmother's maiden name was Brown, and that the rest is history. So started in the 70s. I came when I was about 9, which was the early 90s, and I've been there ever since I've been there.
Well, that's good. Well, it's like you just all kept it right in the family. So
Yeah.
that's definitely something that's always great. So who would you say would be like your top influences on how you got into music? So was it just like you just started it because it was like a family thing, or was music like always a part of your life?
Well, it became just ultimately a part of my life because my I was born into a singing family. So of course, when you think about my mom, my dad played the bass, my grandmother was the manager and founder of the group. So I pretty much was born into a singing family. So in that regard, I really didn't have a choice. I knew that I loved music. They tell stories of me being like 3 and me saying, I want the mic, give me the mic. So they would unhook the cord from the mic and give me the mic and just let me sing along because I developed such a love for. I was just kind of born into it.
Mhm.
And as I grew older, it became like therapy for me. Like I just love music, not just gospel, all types of music. You might get in my car and get anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I just love music. Period.
Okay. So who would going forward, like if you say, you know what, I want to develop another record or I want to do a single, do you see someone specifically that you would want to have on your song as like a feature, or who's like your inspiration behind like your music?
To be honest, I have so many favorite singers, like so many that I just absolutely adore. But I am a serious Walls Group fan. Um, I am a serious uh Daryl Walls. He's just like the bomb.
Yeah.
He just ice cream cold. So he's one of those people, and he really does have a heart for God. So my opportunities being around them and seeing them, I call them niece and nephew. I'm old now, so I've made it to auntie status. Everybody call me auntie now. That would be one person that I could think of out of countless people. Because I mean, if I started naming, I'd be naming all day because I'm truly a fan of the gospel music industry as a whole. I'm a fan of a lot of people. So, I haven't had any features to date, but I'm definitely, thinking about very soon.
Okay. Well, you just threw out there that you're old. I'm just like, you don't look old at all. So you got the youth side on you. So you
Well,
perfect.
listen, this is how old I am. I have a almost 17-year-old who is um she's going to 12th grade this year. She's a senior.
Okay.
So that's, it just, if you want to try to put a number to it, that's how old I am. I got a baby that's about to graduate from high school. I know I don't look old enough to have no baby finna
You
graduate
don't.
from high school like that. I can't. That can't be real.
Well, that's good. Well, like I said, you definitely have that on your side. So, I noticed, I was reading actually your bio on your website, and I see that you actually have a women's retreat. It's called Loving Me Again, if I'm
Hmm.
not mistaken. So tell us about that. Do you plan on doing that again in the future, or?
Absolutely. It's an annual thing. When I started in 2017, we've done it every year. We go somewhere different every year. First year we did Birmingham, had 300 ladies that showed up in attendance. We did Atlanta last year, we did Little Rock, and this year Birmingham back over again. So it's something that my story, and I'm not a product of my story. I think for years I told my story because I think people needed to know that I was a young mom, had my daughter, I was 19, turning 20. I was a single mom. And for years, I had, really struggled with learning how to love myself. And by the time I made it about 30, I realized everything that I was missing in those younger years from 20 to 30, really didn't understand how important loving me was.
Right.
So it birthed this conference. I started giving advice on Facebook, started, just kind of telling my story, talking about having a baby dad, talking about, all the different things that women, especially in church, can relate to. It's one of those things that we don't talk about in church.
Mm.
We don't talk about. We say, you need to be married, you don't need to be having no children, don't be fornicating, don't be doing this,
Mm.
but we don't give them the tools to understand how to do that, how to live saved, how to, what to do, what to say no to, what to look for, what are the flags, how do you know this joke ain't no good, that kind of stuff that we don't teach our young women. So the Loving Me Again retreat was birthed out of that, having a moment where all these ladies come together and we cry, we laugh, we pray, and we worship, and we sing, and we laugh some more, we cry some more, and it has turned into a major event for me, and I'm really excited. Every year we get new faces. We run our room every year. And God's just blessing through that door, and I've been able to find what I would consider to be a passion for empowering and helping women.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, I definitely look forward to the next one. I would, Mom, come on, we going. We going to the
Yeah.
conference. Let's go. So that's definitely great. And I think for me personally, especially being young, being, that pastor's kid and, always having that, oh well, I can't do this because, this person might think this or they might think that is
Yeah.
honestly it's a little bit of a stressor because it's like at what point do you say, beyond all that, I can still accomplish goals and dreams, even though yeah, I might have made some mistakes, but
Right.
this is something else that I could say I'm proud of. So I definitely commend you for having a platform like that because it's definitely needed. Because a lot of
Mhm.
times, we can't talk to the parents because the parents might feel, okay, let me give you the biblical answer. No, sometimes we need that raw, uncut, nah, sis, this is how it is.
Right, right. And typically, and really, it started off being like a youth thing.
Mhm.
But here lately, I mean, they were just kind of talking about it that last year, I probably had more married women than I had single. So, but of course, now that I'm married, my advice and the things that I say is a little bit different because it's from a different perspective, being somebody's wife versus being single. But what I gather from that is that just having both sides of those experiences, I can speak to the younger generation and say, this, blah, 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 blah. And then I can encourage my sister too and say, look, you got a husband, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. So it really has become one of those events where you get all kind of people, widowed. The age range is probably about 18 to maybe 60 that we have that are consistent. Like I have a group of women, at least about 150 of them that's coming every year. They ain't missing. They're gonna be there every year. So it's amazing. We exercise, we do different events. Last year we had a fashion show. Year before that we had movie night, we had a big screen and all this kind of stuff. This year is called Couch Conversations. We have pajama night, and we're gonna just because and I was intentional about not having it in church because sometimes people when they just being in the church makes them feel like there's a level of judgment inside. So I always make sure to have it at a hotel, or we could just relax, let our hair down, and it is beautiful. I have women that now made lifelong, I think, friends, and they meet up at my event. And to me, like that's amazing. It's amazing.
It is. So, what would you say outside of being a mom and being a potential manager and being just an entrepreneur? What would you say are like your biggest challenges with juggling everything together?
The biggest challenge, in my opinion, is sometimes being a mom. I recently, probably in the last 4 or 5 years, I've changed my schedule drastically because my daughter who runs track, my son played football, just different things, and I was missing a lot of it being on the road. And they were very vocal with me, with saying, "Mama, we want you there." So sometimes I understand that there's ministry that has to take place. But I also understand that my first ministry is my home, is my husband and my children. So, like I said, made a drastic change to say, okay, these days I don't do these holidays. I won't be gone during this. And if there is something that's happening and I have to say, well, I can't make that, then I have to learn what is, because I think it's important that your house is stable. I can't minister to nobody else, and I can't, my house is out of order. Right. So, it was a challenge, and it still is, because sometimes I'm an extrovert introvert, believe it or not. So I'm kind of forced into being an artist when I walk out of the door. My home is my sanctuary. So, just kind of being home and leaving my husband and leaving my kid. Oh, I dread it. Oh man. Friday comes and I know I got a flight or whatever. I'll be like, oh, then I go and God moves and it's amazing. I'm like, okay, God, I know why you have me doing this. All right, but I'm ready to go home. They know when it's time to go home, I want the first flight. I don't care if they mother leave at 4 o'clock in the morning. Put me on it because I'm ready to get home.
Right, I definitely get it. So I want to ask you about a particular track. So I was, downloading new songs and stuff like that, and I came across this song that you did with Erica Campbell and Fantasia. I was speechless. I was like, how? So how was that experience like? Because you have like Fantasia, who's just like a powerhouse, and she's like raw, and then you have Erica Campbell, and she's like raw in her own way. So how was that experience for you working with both of those people?
Amazing. I got a chance to I traveled for some years with James Fortune and Fire, and I got a chance through that to meet so many amazing people. Erica Campbell was one of them. And she and I just clicked. I kind of feel like she's my big sister in my head. And they love quartet and that traditional gritty sound of gospel. And I think she posted it one day on Instagram, like, what if I got Lisa Knowles and Fantasia on a track, and everybody's going crazy, everybody's tagging me in it, and then next thing I know, I get a phone call from LA. I'm like, I don't know nobody in LA. And it was her and Warren Campbell asking me would I be a part. So the experience was amazing. They are so some of the most humble people that I've ever met in my life. Being around them is not like being around. I think, and I probably get in trouble for saying this, but I say it all the time, and I don't care. I think sometimes in gospel we become like gospel superstars, and we forget that what we do is not about us. It's about Jesus. It's about the kingdom. It's about spreading a message. It's about ministry. So we put ourselves higher than that. These are not them kind of people. When you go around, it's like you they cousin. It's like like they know you. And I love that because the Bible says if you are humble, that He will exalt you. You know what I'm saying? He'll do what he needs to do. And I know why they're so successful in everything they put their hands on, because they are some of the most genuine and amazing people. And I mean, I don't have to talk about Fantasia. Fantasia is
Right.
she's a beast. Now we didn't actually get a chance to record all together.
Mhm.
We were in different places. I think we were supposed to go to LA and do it, but it didn't end up working out like that. So we all kind of did our pieces
Mhm.
separately, and then we all heard it and listened and got on a couple of calls and talked. But it was an amazing experience.
That's awesome. So I'm just going to throw it out there because I know for a fact that I'm going to be, corresponding with you guys soon. I want to do something where it's almost like the conference that you have, but I kind of want to throw you to sing in there a little bit too. So would you be, willing, if time or if it ever presents itself, for you to come to Delaware? I know we small in number, but I know for a fact that you gonna pack the place out. So
Wow. Man, I don't think I've ever been to Delaware. If I could, just I don't. When I saw Wilmington, I was like, wow, I don't think I've ever been to Delaware. I've been like around Delaware, but I haven't been. I would love to come. Absolutely, I would absolutely love to
awesome. Well, we definitely gonna set something up, like I said, because when I told, my dad, he does quartet too.
come.
So
Okay.
when I told him, I was like, Dad, I was like, I'm having Lisa Knowles on the show, and he's just like, wait, what? Because it was just, honestly, I think why I was so thrown off by it is because, a lot of times with certain gospel,
Yeah.
the rim of that, like, I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say it, but once you, say, I think I want to get this person on the show, it's almost like you have to go through 50 different people before you can get to them.
Mhm.
So I think when I got that initial response, I was like, wow, like, I was so surprised because I'm not used to seeing that. I'm not used to someone who's, go ahead and send it and set it up with my PR. We're gonna go ahead and get it done. So for that, that's why I was like, wow, like, she different. You know what I mean? And it's a good difference. So that's why, like I said, I was so thankful that you even took the time to even come and speak, because you could have been like, oh no, it's okay. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? But
I
you
think
know,
it's necessary, like I said, like I just said in a nice way, that sometimes I think gospel artists kind of think it's about them, and it's
mhm,
not. It's not really about you. It's about us spreading a message. It doesn't matter. For me, I feel like if I'm talking to one person or if I'm talking to 10,000, it doesn't change anything. I have a job and I have an assignment that I am to do, and God chose to use me. I didn't do nothing so great for him to pick me. You know what I'm saying? For him to say, I'm gonna give you this. He gave it to me because he can trust me with it. And I think it's my responsibility to be responsible. And I have an obligation to touch everybody that I can touch. It doesn't matter. I try not to, and I don't. That's probably a lot of times the people who work for me and my staff and all, they say heart's too big. But I feel like if you do right by people, God will do right by you. You know what I'm saying? And
that-
what you make happen for other people, God will make happen for you. And I ain't went without nothing. I haven't had a show since March, and I probably made more money being at home than I would have made being on the road. So I'm gonna tell you something. It works. Doing what God has called you to do, and being who He's called you to be, and doing what's right matters. It matters so much.
it does. Well, like I said, I definitely, I'm gonna put together something. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but I'm gonna say, listen, we're gonna bring some people together. We're gonna have a show, and that's what it's gonna be. Even if we gotta do almost like a praise in the park, we're gonna do something. We're gonna bring y'all down.
Let me know. I'd love
And
to
we're gonna have a
come.
good time. Of course. Well, like I said, again, I definitely appreciate you so much for, again, just taking the time just to talk to me. Even if it was for a little bit, again, this will be something that will be memorable for me. It definitely
Thank
will
you.
be. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Keep doing
well,
it. Keep doing what you're doing.
thank
I
you.
mean, a lot of times people don't get to see. Like I said, I've never been to Delaware, so I don't. I didn't know people even listen to our music in Delaware, or know who I was in Delaware. So it gives me an opportunity to connect with an area that I haven't been in, that I would love to come. So
Okay.
send me some dates, some information once this Corona kind of
Yeah.
subsides a little bit, and we can get back to business as normal, or our new version of whatever normal is going to be. I would definitely love to come.
Okay, awesome. Well, I would definitely keep you posted on that. Before I let you go, I just want to ask one other question. For the people that may be watching that say, you know what, I want to take that leap of faith and I want to start my own business, or I want to, go ahead and start singing, what advice would you give them?
I always say that if you're looking, and it's going to be from two different perspectives, because I'm a businesswoman and then I'm an artist as well. So from the artist perspective, I always tell people, stop trying to be famous. They always ask me, what do we have to do to make it, or what can I do to make it? And I always say, stop trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the purpose of what. Well, I mean, and if it is, then there's a different, level of things. But I think the best way to do is to do what God has called you to do. Those of us who are gifted to talk, or to write, or to, God provides provisions and makes ways for us to do what He's called us to do. So if you just do what you're supposed to do, God will open doors. You ain't got to keep none down. You ain't got to do nothing extra. You just walk. Just do what God has called you to do, and He's going to provide the way. And then business owners, I always tell people, right now is the perfect time. I never understood people think that people that are not Christians or that are not believers are the ones that are supposed to be successful. I don't think that. I think God gives us ideas. He gives us thoughts. He gives us, stuff that people hadn't thought of, or that people have thought of, but it was for you. And you didn't do what you're supposed to do. But when you do, you see how blessed you can be, because God intended for you to do that. I think that the most important thing that anybody can do on any level is do what God has called and purposed you to do. How do you get that out? Get that question. How do I know what I'm called to do? How do I know that, I'm passionate? How do you feel about it? I think it's a thing. If you're doing it for money, that's not a passion. If you got to be paid to do it, then you ain't passionate about it. Yeah. I'll go, I've been places where people didn't pay me, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do in their contract. And I've watched other artists say, oh, I'm not singing. And I be thinking to myself, well, I came to sing. Mm-hmm. Money or no money, I'm singing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm because I'm passionate about it, and I know that's what God called me to do. And I know that when I do His will, when I do what He's called me to do, He's gonna provide. His benefits it's limitless. You can't put a limit on what God will do. So just do what you've been called to do. Pray to God, and go for it. Everybody, one of our ministers, associate ministers, talked about last night. I preached Sunday how to handle the storm, and as she was talking, she said, "I'm gonna piggyback off of what Lisa said. When you get to a storm, just imagine if you just stop driving. If you just stop driving because you see rain and you see lightning. Most of the time, many of us have been on the road and we've driven through a storm. You start driving, it starts storming, and you keep driving, and then the storm is gone. So whatever you put out to do, you set out to do, no matter what happens, keep going. Mm-hmm. Keep doing what God has called you to do. And He's going to make the way. He's going to provide. He's going to, provide the resources and, put people in your life to bless you. Just keep going. That was good to me. That blessed me.
Yeah. It blessed me too. I was like, oh, I felt the goosebumps coming. I was like, okay, you about to preach.
Yeah, keep going. You got to.
Awesome. Well, for those that are not following you, or that may say, hey, I need to go ahead and follow her, where can they find you on social media?
I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, of course, as Lisa Knowles-Smith. I'm on Instagram. I am Lisa Knowles-Smith. I'm on Snapchat, Lisa Knowles-Smith. I'm on TikTok. I actually have a TikTok. My 16, almost 17-year-old convinced me to start a TikTok, and so now she's teaching me all the little dances, and I'm doing all this. Okay. All the little, So I'm everywhere, and of course, you can always find me on my website. I am www.iamlisaKnowlesSmith.com. So I love connecting with people who keep me doing what it is that God called me to do. That support it by buying music and just being amazing to me. So I'm everywhere.
Awesome. Well, again, Miss Knowles-Smith, I appreciate you so much. Again, I am just overjoyed. I'm super happy. I couldn't stop smiling. I'm overjoyed. So again, I so appreciate you very, very much. I want to be able to climb that old rugged hill. Search my mind, Lord. Work on me. Oh, search my heart, Lord. I need you to come on, see about
if you allow